This is a short descriptive video about one of my favorite Copal flip-flocks. Not the favorite one. That would be a mix between the 701 and the 703. This is the 707, basically, let's say the successor of the 601, 602, but then with an added alarm. So it's slightly wider as well, slightly bigger. It's a fairly elusive clock. You don't see them very often. It's fairly different as well. The setup for the motor which sits here is different from most other Copal clocks that I know. The flaps are fairly unique as far as I'm aware. You only find them on this particular clock. I never had a yellow one before, if I'm not mistaken, so I jumped at the chance to get this one. It came all the way from Japan, so the dates, well, not the dates, but the days are in Japanese and in English as well. It's a flip alarm clock. It has two lights, one here, and actually a third one for the alarm. All the lights have been replaced, the wiring has been replaced, got a new cable, brand new plug. The case is slightly discolored but very even, so it has some shades of lighter yellow, which is original, some shades of darker yellow. It is a 24-hour clock. It's a bit of a mix because the original clockwork was completely stuck. It was I don't know what had happened to it, but it was not worth repairing because I had a donor clock with a good clockwork, and I decided to leave that like it was, so not to touch it too much because that was working. That is working just fine. The 24-hour clock. This was a commemoration clock. So as far as my translator app tells me, this kind of says, maybe someone that speaks Japanese can give me some more information on it, but what it gave me is it's a 15-year commemoration of something. Doesn't really say what. I think the Hitachi Engineering Company. Sometimes I think it would be nice to have a bit more of a background as to why this clock was issued exactly, but I mean that kind of sums it up. It just doesn't say a whole lot. In any case, the motor was cleaned, lubricated, and is running perfectly. Very quiet. There are some blemishes here and there. The clock is used. Other than that, it's in a really good condition. I keep saying about these clocks, the alarm is just crazy. I mean, who came up with the idea of having to turn it, well, not just on, that's okay, but turn it off at the bottom of the clock. You have to lift up the clock and then lift it up with two hands because you need the second hand, the one hand to lift it up and the other hand to push it in, which isn't even very easy to do. All the controls are at the bottom. I mean, that was probably the idea. It does look nice, very sleek. Here's the gear for the adjusting the time. Now this gear is usually fine. It's the second gear up that wears out. This one is in perfect condition. It's a very thick gear, so I mean, I can imagine that it will last a good while still, but that is a very hard gear to get or to replace. I've done one in the past and it's very tricky because it doesn't have a round hole in the center. It has a rectangular hole. Makes it very tricky. I can get the gear or one that's close enough, as that one will have a round hole, so you have to file it up basically. Very tricky to do, but not impossible. So let me just turn on the alarm. It's not super loud, which is okay, I suppose. I suspect most people won't be using it anyway. I could do something about that. It's just that the unit for the alarm, which sits here at the back of the clockwork, is attached to two screws, and I did try and remove it to maybe get it up, not just a little bit, the sound. One of the screws is stuck, and I didn't want to put too much pressure on that. So I decided to just leave it as it is. I mean, it works. And my Copal alarm clock on my bedside table, I use it as a clock and not as an alarm, as most people would do nowadays. Yeah, so the clock has been fully restored. It's working. It's in a perfect working condition, and it will be for sale on either flip-aclock.com or in my Etsy shop called Flip-a-clock. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.